Welcome to Coach's Corner, everyone. Thanks for watching the show this Monday night. That's right. We do every Monday night. We do a Goode and Faithful Servant episode with my old teammate, Kerry Goode. Great running back. Tore his ACL and was out. Many of you know. Kerry's got ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and we've waited a couple years for technology to catch up so we could do this show. Very thankful. Thank you, Lord, for AI technology as Kerry thinks his words into the computer and it spits it out in his own voice. That's right. So Kerry, with his progression of ALS, cannot even talk anymore. His vocal cords are gone, but his mind is sharp as ever and he's full of wisdom. So let's dive into it. That's right. We tackle a couple chapters every week in Kerry's book, Goode and Faithful Servant. And this week we're on day 96. Divides his chapters up into days, and this one is titled "No One Dies Without Scars." These are all in Kerry's words. I just asked the questions. From the time we were little boys, my friends and brothers liked to show off their scars like medals. This competitive group conversation turned into some bizarre male bonding ritual. Quote, scar on my knee, scar on my shoulder. Well, I have a scar on my hand when I got cut in a hunting knife accident, etc. Kerry goes on to say, everyone but me. I almost made it out of high school without a single stitch on my body until I slipped on a wet floor warming up for a basketball game and tore my patella tendon. Every scar we have indicates that something bad happened. When you receive a scar or mark on your body, it is there for a reason. I think everyone wishes our flesh were like our tongue. You know, the tongue has a certain type of tissue that does not scar when it is torn. It always repairs itself. God had fixed it so that the tongue can virtually repair itself when it does and does not leave a scar. However, the only scar a tongue can possibly leave is when it is used to hurt others. That's right. I can tell you that scars do not form on the dying. My scars mean that I have survived. They didn't break me. They made me. Know this, living with scars is far more of a blessing in my life than a curse. All right, KG, my first question for you today is, I guess the kids were proud of their physical scars, visible proof that healing has occurred. However, when the tongue spews hurtful words, they are more difficult to heal. How much more are they difficult to heal? How does time heal those scars, those emotional scars, Kerry?
Well, growing up, it was like we were all part of some unofficial Scar Olympics. My brothers and buddies would gather around like war heroes comparing battle wounds. Check out this one from my bike crash. I got this one from football practice. Mine's from a squirrel hunting accident. I mean, who knew adolescence came with a highlight reel of stitches and scabs? And there I was, Mr. Untouched. I almost made it out of high school without a single stitch. I was like the pristine action figure still in the box. Until one day, I was warming up for a basketball game, and I slipped and tore my patella tendon. Boom. Welcome to the club. Kerry, here is your membership scar. But here's the thing. Every scar tells a story. It's proof that something went wrong, but also that something healed. It's like your body saying, yeah, that hurt, but I'm still here. Now, if I had my way, I'd vote for skin to be made out of tongue tissue. You ever notice how the tongue does not scar? You bite it, burn it, chew it wrong. Bounces back like nothing ever happened. God designed it to heal fast and clean. But ironically, the tongue is also the one thing that can leave scars you can't see, emotional ones, the kind that do not show up in locker room bragging rights. Those scars, the ones left by words, do not get stitched up in the ER. They take time, they take grace, they take forgiveness, and sometimes they take a lifetime. I've got my share of physical scars now. Ellis has made sure of that, but I wear them like badges. They mean I survived. They did not break me. They built me. And while I can joke about the ones on my knees and shoulders, I've learned to take the emotional ones seriously, because healing from those takes more than rest. It takes intention. So yeah, the boys were proud of their scars, and I get it, but the ones we can't see, those are the ones we need to talk about more, because living with scars, visible or invisible, is not a curse, it's a testimony. And if you ever hear me say something sharp with this tongue of mine, just know I'm working on keeping it scar-free for both of us.
Yeah. Wow. The tongue can heal, but ironically, it can leave scars that are more difficult to heal than the physical scars, the emotional scars. These scars take longer to heal. It takes time, grace, and forgiveness, Carrie says. The scars we can't see are the ones we need to talk about more. Wow. Good stuff, KG. All right, let's go to day 97. You titled this chapter, Never Criticize, Always Encourage. Being criticized can be a tough thing to handle for everyone, even though it sometimes can be very useful to help you grow or improve. But there is a significant difference between helping someone improve and having that critical spirit. A critical spirit is never pleased. A critical spirit expects and finds disappointment wherever it looks. However, as I told my teenager, there's a big difference between critiquing and criticizing. Godly critique is true and loving. It comes from a humble and caring heart that wishes the best for you. It is not bitter, condescending, insulting, or cold-hearted. In fact, a true friend will speak the truth even when it's hard to hear. But I think I miss the boat in the delivery of the message. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a hard word stirs up anger. This is why it is so crucial to bring up a concern gently. Truth is, criticism only hurts because you believe it is to be true. So your choices are to make a change if it is true, or to let it go if it isn't. And as my grandmother used to say, they talked about Jesus. What makes you any better than him? Carrie, you had a pretty wise grandmother too. All right, my question two themes stood out to me here in this chapter, KJ. A critical spirit is never pleased, number one. And what matters is the delivery of the message. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Please expound on these 2 points for our listeners, KJ.
Let me tell you, being criticized isn't easy. I do not care how tough you are, how many games you've played, or how many battles you've fought. When someone comes at you with a critical spirit, it stings, and not because it's always wrong, but because of how it's delivered. There's a big difference between critique and criticism. I've told my teenager this more than once, usually when they're rolling their eyes at me. Godly critique is rooted in love. It's honest, but it's humble. It's meant to build, not break. It's the kind of truth that might be hard to hear, but it's spoken with care and the hope that you'll grow from it. Now, let's talk about that critical spirit. That's a whole different ballgame. A critical spirit is never satisfied. It walks into the room already disappointed. It expects failure, and it finds it, even if it has to invent it. That kind of spirit does not want to help you improve. It wants to keep you down. It's bitter, it's cold, and it's exhausting to be around. I've learned that the real issue isn't always the message, it's the delivery. You can say the right thing the wrong way and lose the whole point. Scripture says, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And I've seen that play out in real time. You come at someone with fire, they're going to come back with flames. But if you speak with gentleness, even hard truth can be received with grace. Truth is, criticism only hurts when you believe it. So if it's true, make the change. If it's not, let it go. Do not let someone else's bitterness become your burden. And when folks talk about you, and they will, just remember what my grandmother used to say. They talked about Jesus. What makes you any better than him? So I choose encouragement. I choose grace. I choose to speak truth with love and to receive it the same way, because at the end of the day, I'd rather be remembered for lifting people up than for tearing them down.
Wow, some good points in that. Did you listen carefully? Critical spirit is never satisfied. It walks into the room already with disappointment by its side. It expects failure and is actually seeking failure out. It is bitter. Critical spirit is bitter, cold, hard to be around. Critical spirit, do not let someone else's bitterness become your burden, Carrie says. You want to be remembered for lifting others up and not for tearing them down. Great advice, KG. All right, let's hear your closing remarks on today's themes.
So here's what I've come to believe. Never criticize, always encourage. Speak truth, but speak it with love. If you've got something to say it in a way that builds, not breaks, because your words have power. They can either leave scars or spark healing. I've got my share of physical scars. Ellis has made sure of that, but I wear them like badges. They mean I survived. They didn't break me. They made me. And I've learned that living with scars is more of a blessing than a curse. Let's be the kind of people who choose grace over judgment, encouragement over criticism, and healing over harm. Let's use our voices to lift others up, not tear them down, because legacy is not built by pointing out flaws. It's built by helping others rise. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Let's keep building something that lasts.
Wow. Wow. Be the kind of person who chooses grace over judgment, chooses encouragement over criticism, and who chooses healing over harm. Wow. Great stuff, KG. Thanks for being on the show again this week. Have a great week, my friend. Everybody, thanks for watching Goode and Faithful Servant. Hope you got something out of it. Share it. Stay tuned for these great messages from our sponsors. Without this, just wouldn't be possible. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great sports week. It's not a Manic Monday. So long.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
For 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352, 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We self-fund for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.